to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. There's lights that burn so brightly, in the northeast sky they shine. From the place that Geordies worship, where legends wear number 9. You can travel right round the world, even meet the Pope in Rome. But nothing beats the feeling of when you come back here to home. No matter how life changes, we'll never be far apart. The northeast always home, and it's always in your heart. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And yes, I'm joined by Junior Turner tonight. And how are you, Junior?
I'm fine. I'm positive. I'm positive for COVID.
Not great, is it? But
no, I'm I'm well though. I'm certainly faring up well. I'm Nick Pope for the weekend apparently. That's the synopsis. I'm Nick Pope.
Yeah, that's the famous saying at the moment, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but look, life's good. Life's good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. Just looking forward to Sunday now, and it's not that far away, is it? So
no, it's not that far away at all. It's I think sooner rather than later, given the way that the past few weeks have seemed to unfold.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get into any comments, if you like what you see, then please smash the like button. It does help the channel up with search results. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe. It's free to do so, helps the channel grow. Bell notification also tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. And if you want to donate to the channel, there is a PayPal link in the chat, so just click on that and follow the instructions. Just grab into some comments before we get into the show. Sefton's been in the chat straight away.
Evening, Sefton.
Yeah, he says, I'm running late, stuck in traffic, but queue for the legend. How'd you get around the copyright issues? Backing track music, is there any way to stay clear off regarding the issue? So I'll give you that one to answer.
There's a number of legalities that you've got to go through and paperwork, but there's certain little loopholes that you can dance through with i.e. if a song's already been released in the UK, you can cover it. And furthermore, if you go through a distributor to get your music where it needs to be for people to hear it, as long as you put in the details of the original publishers, when any money comes in from royalties, etc., they'll split it and ensure that they still get paid as well, in layman's terms. There you go.
I hope that answers your question, Sefton. So there you go. You know what you got to do. And he also says, are you going down to London or staying in the motherland?
Unfortunately, I'm not going to Wembley. I made that decision quite early because as we were probably one of the first to get a song out there. Literally as the final whistle went on the second semi-final, and so soon afterwards, the phone began to ring with inquiries in terms of match day performances on the final. So financially, it made more sense for me to remain up the northeast. I know it was a big pull into how I made my decision, but so I decided early doors I'll be staying in northeast. But then, sadly, as it turns out, yesterday I tested positive for COVID. So now it's in the hands of the gods as to whether or not what I'm contractually obliged to do on Sunday, whether or not that actually comes off or not, because it'll now be down to how I actually feel, because I don't fancy performing full of cold, let alone, well, as you can hear, I'm pretty bunged up, and it's not the done thing to be going on stage and coughing and spluttering all over people. And so as it stands, it'll be me, the living room, the dogs, and the telly. But feeling that, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be out there performing and enjoying the atmosphere with everyone else in the Northeast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just awful when it's an awful time for it to come, isn't it? And it can happen anytime, but it's the timing's really bad, isn't it? And let's hope by
Yeah,
Sunday you might be feeling better. And
I hope so. Really
yeah.
hope so.
And then Sefton also goes on to say, he's been quick in the chat tonight, is Sefton. He says, have you got any albums planned? He says, I've got to go because traffic's moving. Hopefully I'll be back to say hello before the end of the show. I have the show ready in my car.
I think I spoke to you last time about this. I didn't even have any plans to write another record, let alone Banks of the River Tyne. And then now, obviously, the Eddie Howe song came out. There's no comparison to the two. One's very tongue-in-cheek and just kind of celebrating the moment and trying to encapsulate, one of the biggest songs, anthems, being Sweet Caroline and its involvement with football and celebrating, obviously, Eddie Howe and the good times of the takeover. It was a perfect song, really, to do. But it's certainly, because I've been back in the studio more than I'd envisaged prior to Banks of the River Tyne, being in the studio and enjoying them times again. And it's opened my eyes and my brain to think that what I would like to maybe do, I'm not saying I will do, but there was Roddy Lambert, which is Busker, which he obviously performed the big massive anthem that is Coming Home Newcastle. He had an album out. He had an album out, and it actually it's probably one of the best albums out there if you can get your hand on it. It's called Pure Geordie by Busker. It's really hard to find. I've been trying to look for it the last couple of weeks. And on there, there's a number of songs, like everyone relates to Coming Home Newcastle, but some of the other songs on there are like absolutely amazing. So I wouldn't like to just cover the whole album, but maybe one or two of the songs on there. And maybe obviously add Banks of the River Tyne in there. I might write another song. And maybe look at a couple of other Geordie icons that have written local songs that perhaps have not been heard, and maybe bring them in. Maybe make an album of a mix of my songs, Geordie songs, and just it'd be for me. It'll be more about tipping my cap to those around us that have went before, and like a Busker. If it wasn't for Busker and Coming Home Newcastle and stuff, then it wouldn't have inspired us, along with all the other great songs, Big River, and there's Lindisfarne. There's several factors that have led me to do Banks of the River Tyne the way I did it. And because of that, I think it would only be right if I did do an album in any way. Should it be a local album, that in turn I would pay respects to them people as well in doing that album and making them, like I say, a compilation of great songs. Maybe some have been heard and some haven't, because like I say, there's a lot of great songs, especially on that album, that need to be heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Mason's in the chat. Mason, he says, Banks of the River Tyne is on my playlist for the gym because I love the song so much.
Thanks, Mason. It's a great song. That's what I was just saying before, though. Don't even think about making comparison, because it was never meant to be that way. One's a kind of a party song. One's a sincere love song, I suppose, if you want to put it that way, because it encapsulates everything about being. Because when I wrote it, it was a song that when I wrote it, it was a song that I wrote from experience within my family of the shipyards, coal mining, etc. And having spoken to several other people in the area and heard their thoughts and feelings. Just remember, being in pubs and clubs, you hear little tales of the mines and shipyards, and I just wanted to encapsulate that in a song, and it's hard to do it in like 3.5, 4 minutes. But it wasn't until it got released, and then you've got things like expats, that now even crossed my mind. And then the next thing, when you've got these people reaching you from like Geneva and America and Australia, and saying like how the songs touched them. That was never in my thinking, and it now makes us realise exactly what the song is and how the song has been received. So yeah, it's a beautiful song, and I'm so proud of it. I really am.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, um, obviously I asked you your permission. You said yes, and I mean, I've got it on my intro, and it's a great song. And I just want to say thank you in person to you as well
No,
for
no,
letting me
honestly,
use it. I mean, absolutely a pleasure.
exposure. It's exposure for me at the end of the day, and that's what matters. I said it in the beginning, in the interview with the Chronicle and stuff. Um, as we touched on last time, obviously I've got health issues and stuff like that, and because of that, I was given a short life expectancy. And the one thing I did say when I wrote it and brought it out that I would like to think that it's around a long time after I'm gone. In likes of Ronnie Lambert, God bless his soul, he's no longer with us. But every weekend, God forbid, or somewhere in the week, you hear coming home Newcastle, and I would certainly like to think that in times ahead of us that the same goes with Banks of the River Tyne.
Yeah, I'm sure it will do. I mean, especially in every Geordie, that's for sure. And probably, like you say, expats around the world, they've probably played it, and people have probably said, "Oh, what's that about?" And then they've listened to it, and so
Yeah.
it's gone worldwide, which is brilliant, isn't it? And I think it'll live on and live on, and like
Yes,
any
hope.
songs, I mean, some of the songs you hear today, will you hear them in 40 years' time? I doubt it.
No, definitely not. But like I say, it's just the reason that I did what I did at the time, and what's happened since is, like shown us that what I wish for the song is more than possible. What was once a dream is now quite possibly a reality, and like it's doing well, and it's amazing to think. I mean, it's coming up 2 years now, nearly in a couple of months' time. It's coming up 2 years for the song, and it's still getting spoken about. It's still on the lips of people. It's still, people are buying T-shirts, CDs, etc., and people are singing along to it at gigs. And as long as that continues, then I'll uh, I'll not complain.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Um, Ian says hi. Hi, Ian. I hope you're well. See you night this afternoon. Ian says, "All right, Tony and Junior. My house is going 5 to 50 pence for Wembley. Well, looking forward to getting down to London to all see the Black and White Army. Yeah, absolutely. Should be a fantastic day out." Andrew says, "All right, lads. Yeah, absolutely
Even
fine."
Andrew,
Paul says, "I find myself singing along with the intro every time. Love it."
I did before actually. Unbeknown to me.
I was watching you. I was watching you popping along there.
I was singing along. I'll admit to that.
No harm in that whatsoever.
Hundreds over 2 weeks.
Lee says, "All right, Tony and Junior. Yeah,
Even
fine, mate. Thank you very much." Pete's on. He says, "The excitement is kicking even more for me now." Yeah, absolutely, Pete. And like I say, I'll drop you that link Sunday morning, Pete, and then I'll catch you on that coach, and hopefully you can get a decent enough signal to get on. And when you're on the coach as well, Pete, I might say to you, see if you can grab a couple of fans to come on as well, so I can ask them a couple of questions maybe. So, and just to see what the mood's like on the coach, I think it'll be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think any atmosphere is going to compare to Sunday. I think it's going to be definitely a special to be there. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew says, "I have to play Banks of River Tyne loud every match morning."
Yeah, I would join you in that, Andrew. But normally, come a weekend, I've normally heard it 2 or 3 times by a match day. I haven't performed it, but it's great because I'm with technology, you're quite blessed out to get reports and figures and stuff like that. And it's always interesting when there's been a match on. You always see like a big peak. So
Yeah,
that's also heartwarming to see as well.
brilliant. I Like Coffee says, "Hi, Tony Junior, Turner and all. Hi, I Like Coffee." And I think it was you, Coffee, wasn't it, that said to me, and when you were on with me a couple of months ago, Junior, obviously you didn't tune in live to watch it, but he watched it on catch up, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Coffee who said it, but he was quite inspired by your background, your life, of what you've gone through, and he says it actually helped him through something as well. So, and what's great is not only are we bringing these shows for like people for like football and things like that, but it's nice that we actually bring it to people that, you know, are feeling something else, and it's actually helping them and healing them in a way. So, you know, as I always say to people, if you're struggling on anything, reach out to anybody, you know. I mean, I've always said my DMs are open, just DM. Even if you want to talk, just DM, reach out to people. And, but, you know, Coffee touched on that and said, you know, it brought inspiration to him. So,
it is a stigma, you know, but it is true. I mean, I won't go into a great deal, but it is a stigma about mental health in men more so, because we're all, you know, pretty macho men, I think, we're strong as oxes, but there is times that you do need to speak up, and it's good that people like Tony is offering to do that. So yeah, by all means, the same goes. You know, I'm always on social media. I'm always just a click away, but never ever be alone. Definitely not. It takes nothing just to type a message and be heard. More than sometimes that's all it is, really. You know, times like that, it's just to be heard, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if you're only having a 5-minute conversation with somebody, it doesn't have to be about what your problem is. It could be about anything. You could just say, oh, you know, what do you think of the football today? Things like that. It just helps break the ice, and it just makes people feel better about themselves. And I think a lot of people like watching these shows because it just gives them something else in life, you know, and it gives them pleasure as well. So, and it helps them in times when things are hard.
Definitely, 100%.
Niall says, evening, Tony and Junior. Evening, Niall. Hope you're well, mate. He says, smash the likes and subscribe and share if you want to see what you want Newcastle to win on Sunday. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely Newcastle to win on Sunday, Niall, that's for sure. I'm still seeing 2-1. I mean, what about you, Junior?
I'm gonna be honest. I've spoken to a few people. Obviously, everyone's talking about the match and stuff, and given the Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville analysis of it, and drawing on the back of bits of paper and tactics. But for me, I go back to I remember it was 94, 96. Paul Rideout scored for Everton against Man United at the FA Cup, and they won 1-0. And as far as I recall, I'm sure it was an early goal. And then for the rest of the game, they hung on. And for some reason, it's been played over my mind since we got to Wembley. That game, I just recall it being a kid and being enthralled in the FA Cup final and the euphoria of it. And for some reason, I've just got the gut feeling that this is how it's going to play out for us. It's going to be one of them games where when Newcastle go out, get at them from the off, play the high press. Something's going to give. We're going to score, and then for the next 85 minutes, 80 minutes, it's going to be Newcastle United biting nails, and they're going to hang on for a 1-0. Flip side of that being, it's going to be like Boxing Day at Leicester. We're going to go out and we're going to be 3-0 up by half time. However, my gut feeling tells us the 1-0 early doors, hang on for 85 minutes is how it's going to be. But regardless, in my heart of hearts, I know I'm a die-hard Newcastle fan, but in my heart of hearts, I see the cup coming back here. I just think it's written in the stars. I think the way everything is with the takeover, with the feeling around the place, the way the owners have impacted on, not just on the football sense. And you know more than anything, Tony, can I just say, and I mean this sincerely, from a non-footballing perspective, it's great to see the region embrace the final the way it has, with all these window paintings and flags and people talking about it and being excited. After everything that's went before, whether it's been the pandemic, whether it's been the fact that we never get a fair shake when it comes to the governments, you know, the Northeast is a really special place, and more so than ever this past fortnight, 3 weeks, it's really amazing to see. So just think, if we can go there on Sunday and get a result, there's still another level to be seen in terms of how it will impact the region. And I hope and pray on all that, not just from a footballing fan, not from a Newcastle fan, but from someone that's from the northeast and has been brought up, like I said before, about the song and the shipyards. I've heard all about the coal mines. We've been, we've always been people that's had to really grind it out. So just for 5 minutes of being able to enjoy something like this, but enjoy it fully, i.e. win it, should be something else. And I really hope in my lifetime I get to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it will be. I mean, I remember when we got promoted with Kevin Keegan, from what is now the Championship. And I can remember the open top bus parade, waiting at the Haymarket for the bus coming around the corner. And, I mean, you couldn't move then. You were squashed. You were like in a can of sardines. And, I mean, because people were literally pushing, I was ended up being lifted off the ground. I mean, it was fantastic. And I think if it's like that back then, back in 92, 93, then what's it going to be like if we actually win a trophy? And I tell you what, the town's going to come to a total and utter standstill because there's going to be no space anywhere.
The economical side of it is going to be amazing. Pubs, clubs, hospitality. These people have all been through it with what's went on with the pandemic, etc. And this in itself would be a massive boost to them. We've seen the impact more so. You drive up through the big market or anywhere like that now, the amount of pubs, it's maybe a quarter of what it was. So for them just to get a little bit of a boost in sales or alcohol, and it's going to really lend itself to help repair not all of the damage, but it'll certainly help plug some of the gaps. So from that perspective as well, I love to think on Sunday the lads can go down there, give a one-off performance, leave it all out there on the pitch, and we can see the northeast. Just like I said before, we deserve everything that comes our way. No one can begrudge us. No one can go on about the Saudis or anything like that. We've hardly spent a penny when you look at it statistically. When you look at the financial fair play, we've told all the lines. So no one can even begin to try and dissect it and say we're not worthy of it, because for me, we're worth every single penny of it.
Exactly. And then you see teams like Chelsea who are trying to buy their way to getting into a European spot. And who knows, at the end of the season, they might not even qualify for Europe. And then they spent 600 million in 2 windows, and they're going to have a lot of unhappy players on their books because they all want to play Champions League or European football of some sort. And if they haven't got any of that next season, they're going to be very restless.
Newcastle are doing it at the right pace as well. I really think, I know the cup finals here, I know the excitement's built, etc. But I really think Newcastle are doing it at the right pace in terms of baby steps. If you had to ask my heartfelt opinion, we're not ready for Champions League yet. And the reason I say that, not just the level of players that we have, I'm talking about when you look at the fixtures at the minute, they're coming thick and fast. The Christmas period, we had the World, I know, take away the World Cup, etc. But still, we didn't really suffer much when it came to the World Cup. A lot of our players barely featured, so we can't really class that as an impact on what's happened this season. But certainly, I would think, I think we're maybe 2 seasons away from Champions League at earliest. So I think Newcastle's doing it right in every way, like you've just said about Chelsea, etc. We could have went out, we could have chucked the kitchen sink in it, but I think Newcastle are doing it the right way, at the right pace. I don't see even a 7th place finish this season being a travesty, and going into the Europa League and just finding we're feet in there. Maybe it's just as a kind of dipping your toe in the water. Everything that's happening at Newcastle at the minute, for me, is happening at the right pace. So you'll never change the die-hard fans. Newcastle lose 1 game out of 17, and the next thing there's bloody uproar and negativity, and you'll never change that. It's always been there, and it'll always remain there. But for me, and I think for a majority of the fans, I think it's happening all at the right pace. Things are going well. And like I say, this would just be a great starting point and a stepping stone forward to build from come Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've just looked at the Manchester United team there, and they've got a really strong lineup out tonight, a full 11 now for the game against Barcelona. So they're obviously going for it. So we hope this goes to extra time and maybe penalties, and because it will be a tough game tonight for Manchester United, regardless.
Well, it's a big game for them, but I think a lot's being made over the last. I would say certainly over the last week or so since what happened with Nick Pope. But you know what it is? The team isn't built around one person, just in the same way that it isn't built around Bruno. Newcastle have got a great setup, regardless, in terms of where we are and where we've been in the past. We've got a great setup of squad. And Karius is no one's fool in goal. He's played some big clubs, and give the kid his chance. And I don't see why there's all this panic and worry about him coming in and Nick Pope not. Nick Pope made an error the other day, so what's not to say he would have made that same error at Wembley had he not made it last week? And then Nick Pope would have been hated forevermore by Newcastle fans because he made that mistake at Wembley. It happened, and it's been dealt with in the right way, and someone else is getting the chance. And I think, given what's happened with Karius in the past and the mistakes that sadly he's made or been part of, can only serve to make him want to take this chance with two hands on Sunday and come out and prove his point. I mean, when you've got to remember when Martin Dubravka came to us, no one knew who he was, and he got chucked in the deep end against Man United and played probably a blinder. And you go back before that, I go back to Glenn Roeder being here, and a certain Tim Krul, who was only of a really young age at the time, and were played against, was it Palermo away in the cup? And he got chucked in the deep end, and he played a blinder. So sometimes it's the occasion rather than the person that lends itself to give a performance. And I certainly think on Sunday, again, chuck another scenario in there. It goes to penalties, and Karius is the hero of the day for saving the penalty.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've said it. I've said to people, if Karius goes out there, does a match-winning performance and gets man of the match, you'll have all the press going, oh, actually, he's not that bad of a goalkeeper. Because they all criticised him after that Real Madrid game 5 years ago. But then it came out he had concussion in that game. So if he had concussion, then that's going to impede his performance to start with. And that's down to Liverpool, why they kept him on the pitch if he had concussion as well.
I just really think, like, sometimes I really don't think it's Newcastle fans. Maybe one or two I've seen posts from questioning, etc. But you know what I really find? It'll never ever end, because I think the way things have panned out with the takeover, a lot of people be left with egg on the face. But certainly the press and the media, they love to not they like to write Newcastle and not put United on the end of it. It's all fish bait. It's all clicking. They know they're going to get a response. It's just dangling the carrot, isn't it? But certainly when it comes to Karius, there's certainly a lot of people out there in the media that want to see Newcastle, or Karius not do well on Sunday. But you know what it is? I just hope that kid he's not daft. He'll not have picked up newspapers or anything. He'll just be set on going out there on Sunday on his own personal agenda and wanting to put the past right, and he's got the biggest chance of doing it. And perhaps it's not. I don't think he even, foreseen this circumstance being the case of Wembley. But I just hope for all the right reasons on Sunday they go out and do it. And furthermore, touching on that, I hope they do it and stick it up half of these people in the media that, half of these wallies that they get on TalkSport, whether it be what's it called? Agbolahor. And stand him. Simon Jordan. They're all just absolute, wash pile crap. If they want to tell you, they wouldn't get on I'm a Celebrity. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't put them in, if you did put them in the jungle, you'd leave them there. I would look, honestly, there's so many reasons that I'm excited for Sunday, and that's one of them. And I just hope on Sunday as well that Sky Sports for the first time can find a co-commentator that isn't bias because I don't know what it is lately, but I don't know who did they have on. Who did they have on last week? They had someone,
Carragher
was it Carragher against Liverpool
alongside Martin Taylor.
And come on, man. You know, even Alan Shearer goes on Amazon Prime, and you know what it is? He's done Newcastle games and everything. He's impartial. And if Newcastle are crap, he'll absolutely slate them. Rightly so. It's got to the point now where I can't even bear, because every week on Sky, you know you're going to get someone that just doesn't like Newcastle. And who was it the week before? When was it Bournemouth were played, and they had Don Goodman, and he had what beat before the first ball was even kicked. Oh, they come into this stadium and listen to supporters. Get over yourself, man. Who are you? You're remembered for having a haircut like David Hay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, I just hope and pray for so many various reasons Newcastle can do this, because do you remember that football rant? Was it? There's a famous football rant where the commentator names everyone Maggie Thatcher, and do you remember it? In years gone by.
Oh yeah.
That's for you, Maggie Thatcher. The same should go on Sunday. I really hope someone gets a hold of it and lists all these people and just absolutely hammers them when Newcastle lift the cup.
Yeah.
Brilliant to see.
Definitely, yeah. It would be, wouldn't it? Just nipping some comments here and says, "Hi Junior, I love you singing Banks of the River Tyne."
Cheers, Ian.
Lee says, "Great song, enjoy it, spot on."
Cheers, Lee.
Mason says, "As Junior thought of doing a song with Andrew Cushion, the up and coming star. I've seen him. He went to see Noel Gallagher and was pretty impressive."
Andrew Cushion is doing phenomenal things, and he's a great up and coming talent. That is, he's in the recording studio at the moment. Obviously, I follow him on social media and stuff. He's got all of the boxes ticked when it comes to being light in the genre that he wants to be in. He's doing all the things that that role that his music falls into. So his persona, everything that he does, he's doing right. And long may it continue, but it's certainly a bumpy road, the rock and roll road that he's put himself on. But he's doing grand, and I think big things lie ahead for him. I really, really do. I see. It's very, he's like the Geordie Jerry Cinnamon, I suppose. But I wish him well, and it's great to see anyone from the North East doing well. And Andrew Cushion is one of them as well. You know, like Sam Fender and stuff. And I wish him well.
Yeah. Ali Coffee says, "I wrote a song about NUFC in late January, and after 2 days of letting it rest, I found it a bit cheesy, and the results on the pitch weren't really inspiring. So I'm back to the drawing board to rework and resource it."
Well, Coffee, I'll tell you the truth. I've probably got a drawer full of them kinds of songs that I've wrote 15, 20 years ago. And even if I don't pick them up as a subject matter for themselves, sometimes it could be one line, and I'll be missing a song that I'm writing today, and I'll find one of them songs. So you might never ever finish that song, but always keep it at hand, because you never know. You could find that song being a part of another song, and so don't ever throw away something that just because it doesn't work for what it's meant to work for at the time. It might work itself later, or it might become part of something else that you find yourself working on.
Absolutely, and something that might sound cheesy might not. It might actually, people might actually love it, and so don't think it's going to sound too cheesy. Just go with the flow, can't you?
Without a doubt, it's it's all, like I say, songwriting isn't it's a hard thing. A lot of people think that you just kind of walk out in the garden and see a bird in the tree, and the next thing you've got a song. It's not. It takes, especially songwriters like me. I like to write songs that resonate in some kind of way with us, so that when I come to perform it live, that I give it me all. So for me, it's about having a personal connection to the song.
Yeah, definitely. Christopher Davis says, very sad to hear about John Motson passing away, one of the best and most iconic football commentators ever. Yeah, Christopher, he was. He was one of the best commentators going. And yeah, we'll all miss John Motson.
It was. I actually posted this one on Twitter. He was the voice of my Saturday night. I remember being a kid coming from Wallsend Boys Club, which is literally a stone's throw from my front door. We'd come in on a Saturday night, and Casualty would just be finishing, and it would be straight in a hot bath, covering all the grazes and bruises from the boys as wooden floors, and then you'd be straight out of the bath, and Match of the Day would come on, and then first or second game you'd hear Motti, and he was a big part of like I say, of the Saturday night in our home, and sad. And at 77, that's quite a short innings for the general adult these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, bless him.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot Alert Fishing and Travels, evening all, evening to you.
Stephen, if anyone likes fishing, that's a channel very worthwhile subscribing to. He's get yourself out about brand new channel. He's just started up and traveling north, south, east, west, all kinds of weather, rock fishing, and honestly, well worth it. It's one of my go-to channels when you find yourself in the men's office in the morning and you haven't got a newspaper. I tend to find myself watching fishing channels. So give it a follow, give it a subscribe.
Yep, I'll give you a subscribe after the show, mate. Thank you very much, and hope it kicks on well for you. Andrew says, superb. Coffee says, I was watching it live. Oh, sorry, I thought you said you watched it on catch-up. Andrew says, it's a Goosebumps kind of song and anthem. Yeah. Coffee says, wasn't it mental health, Tony? It was about the inspiration, music, songwriting, and life lessons.
Yeah. It all goes hand in hand, though, Coffee. It all, because even if it's not mental health, sometimes you find writing a song can distress. It can heal. It can make you happy. It can make you sad, and sometimes you need that sadness to come out of you. It's like a grieving. So music's it's a fine thing. It's a great tool to have in your life, and from being the person that makes the music is a different experience to being the person listening to the music. But we both hope the same thing. When I'm writing it, I want you to feel how I feel. And when you hear it, I want you to hopefully feel how I felt. So it's a weird, but if that's the case, and looking at the feedback so far, it certainly seems like it's resonating the way that it was meant to. So thumbs up.
Yeah, excellent. Spot, I says, I think there'll be one goal in it. Hopefully it'll be us. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Let's hope so. Sefton's in the house. He says, evening all. Never volunteer to drop family off at Manchester Airport. What a nightmare. Hi, Legend Junior and Tony. Hi, Sefton. Glad you got back okay, mate. He says, if it's like anything, my last Wembley visits, London will be all black and white, the Charity Shield, and 76 and 74. Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I've never been to a final with Newcastle. I've been to Wembley. Last time I went to Wembley, I think was 6 it'd be 6 years ago when England played Slovakia, when Martin Dubravka was in goal for Slovakia before he came to Newcastle in 2018. But that's when I first heard of Dubravka, because he had a good game that night against England, even though England won 2-1. But the new Wembley's very expensive, though. That's the thing, for drinks, and your little 500ml bottle of Coke you buy in the shops for like £1.40. It's like £4 in Wembley. It's
wow.
And you get searched, so you can't even take your own food and drink in there. It's just so that you buy stuff inside Wembley. They're not daft. Lee says, we spent wisely and done great. Yeah, absolutely. Coffee says, the top 6 are already panicking this season with so much talk of takeovers and overspending on players. Yeah, you've got it in one there, Coffee. Sefton says, Junior, have you put anything to pen and paper just in case we left the trophy news song incoming? How are you, the lads?
Yeah, we have actually already. I don't even think I don't know if I've was somewhere I've seen before. I've put it away out of sight, out of mind, because I don't want to curse anything. It'll be the same song, but it'll just be a rewritten version, just to kind of use forevermore, because I think, like I say, Speak Caroline is a huge anthem. So if Newcastle would have won it, then I think it'll just take maybe 2 or 3 lines that are in a certain tense to be changed. Instead of could have, there will be would have or will have. So it's already in hand, but I'm not going there. I'm not cursing anything.
No, absolutely not. Sefton says, get well soon.
Thank you.
Jody says, better late than never. Evening to you, Jody. Hope you're well. Trevor Sewell, great stuff, Junior. Talking a lot of sense here.
Thank you, Trev. Trev is a Northeast musician as well, singer-songwriter, who inspired me in a big, big way. He was one of the first unsigned artists to win big awards in America without any major backing or record labels or anything. He went over to Hollywood and was picking up big awards and stuff. And he taught me a lot about what it took to find ways around not selling my soul to the devil or going on reality TV to try and make something of my own music. And forever grateful. And Trev's a great, great man indeed. So cheers for that, Trev. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you like blues music, go and check out Trev. If you like blues music or anything like that, well worth checking out.
There you go, guys. So if you want to check out any blues music, check out Trevor Sewell. There you go. Andrew says, well said. Andrew Cushion is excellent. Christopher says, Jason Cundy said on TalkSport that it wouldn't be good for football if Newcastle won the cup. He obviously is taking the pee because most genuine fans would disagree with him. Right. Jason Cundy is ex-Chelsea and he's going to say this, but and at the end of the day, I don't care what Jason Cundy's got to say about if we win the cup or not, if it's bad for football. It's not bad for football. If you look on a lot of chats, and I've looked on a lot of different sites now on Twitter, and you see a lot of fan bases like Forest and, Man City, they all want Newcastle to win the trophy on Sunday over Man United because it's somebody different winning the trophy for a change, So I hope we do go out there and win it, and that'll ram it down Jason Cundy's throat. And I hope Newcastle fans go on there and, give him nice abuse, but not horrible abuse, but give him, just give him it back and say, well, look, we've got the cup now. What do you think of it? And see what he's got to say to that. But the one guy on TalkSport who I do like a lot, and he does like he has a soft spot for us in some ways, and that is Jamie O'Hara. When Jason Cundy's ever said anything about Newcastle, he always seems to say to him, why are you talking like that? And, so I've got a lot more respect for Jamie O'Hara than I have for Jason Cundy and the rest of them.
The thing is, though, what you've got to think about, TalkSport, the people who've got on there are there and they're doing the job they want them to do. They're causing controversy. They're getting people to ring in. They're getting people to comment on social media. It all generates income because what people don't realise, or some people don't realise, is, i.e., you go on Facebook and you're on your news feed, and then you see an article from a newspaper, and it'll give you an inclination to something bad happening, but it'll never tell you what on the title. It'll say, "Oh, mega news TV show scrapped, favorite nation TV show scrapped." But you've got to click on it to find out what it is. But as soon as you click on it, they've got a sponsor on that page, whether it be Jet2 holidays or whatever. That automatically creates a payment because someone has seen that ad. So in the contractual obligement between TalkSport and Jet2 is, as long as that ad gets seen, TalkSport get a payment. So it's exactly the same. They generate their website with topics on the phone on the show that they then say, right, go to the website and check out that article. And it's so interesting because we as humans are clickbait whores. We literally will live on, like, Newcastle United fans are the worst for it. Plain spotted. heading to Tyneside, and they'll click on it. It's like 10 years old, the story, but at the same time, that's just generated someone money. And TalkSport make an absolute fortune purely from aggravating people and making them interact on social media in the way that it's working. It's working tenfold, and I just don't get it, because even the one thing that boils me more than anything with it is like Sir Richard Keys. Why that man is given any airtime, I will never know. He has got no morals. He ran off and left his wife, etc., who was supposedly ill with I don't know if it was the daughter's friend or whatever. And he's had so much to say, but because of what I've just told you about, like the payments and the money and the sponsorships, the Chronicle will still report him. The Chronicle will still cover what he's got to say, because the Chronicle get paid per click onto a story, and the note works. So I just personally, I don't. It's contradictory. I don't get why they do it, but I do, because for me, what Richard Keys has got to say about Newcastle United means nothing. Absolutely, they shouldn't be given any airtime at all. The same goes for TalkSport, but sadly, in their line of work, they work like magic. For them, that or at the top of them said companies or whatever, they work like magic because people will click on them links, people will generate money. It's such a sad world, because all it does is it just lends itself to aggravate Newcastle supporters. Are rightly so. We've had it tough for 14 years, and then you've got people like Jamie O'Hara coming on and saying things, but his gaffer sitting upstairs patting him on the back because he's just generated another 20,000 hits on Twitter. It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
it
really
is.
well.
Yeah. Latest score at the moment, Man United are 1-0 down to Barcelona. Robert Lewandowski from the penalty spot after 18 minutes. So Manchester United are behind at the moment.
Make the work a bit harder now, eh?
Yeah, they'll have to work hard if they want to get into this game. Jody says, Junior has created some excellent songs over the years. The song about John and Liam, which really hit home, Banks of Rotane, and We Love Eddie Howe are my favourites.
Funny story about the obviously John and Liam song. We'll talk about the time because it was a monumental anniversary. It was released on the first anniversary of the passing of and the disaster of flight MH3, of MH17, and I'll tell you a story. In quite funny. I got to do a club. I'll not name it, but I got to do a club in Newcastle West End that was very bloke orientated, and seeing a male singer come on in a room, majority of blokes that just want to have a pint and watch a football and not listen to me warbling on, is understandable. You know, it's what the Northeast does, and I got to a point in the show where I might as well have just been standing there chucking darts at the wall, and then it was actually around the second anniversary of the disaster. So I had mentioned it as being my last song of the first spot, and I said, well, and it was funny because you could hear the level of discussion in the room fall as people that were the Newcastle United link, and what's he talking about now? He's talking about something that we can relate to. And then I went on to introduce the song and explain, Barry contacted me on the first anniversary. I wrote the song within 24 hours. I'd released it within 3 days. I'd been in the studio, pressed it, released it. It was amazing, the turnaround. And I sang the song, and I on All That's Holy, I've never seen as many grown men cry in a room. And the impact, how it changed that day overall, was phenomenal. And not long ago, I was actually at a gig in Sunderland, and it was a private party, and it was primarily Geordies that had booked us for this party. But there was Sunderland supporters there, and they had tattoos or tops, so they were visible to us. And the party, whose party it was, had asked for Banks of the Rotane. Let alone, the bar next door, which isn't part of the party, is primarily majority Sunderland supporters who can hear us through the hatch at the bar. So I've done Banks of the Rotane, and you can hear a lot of them booing and just in jest, and I'm just laughing it off. And this Sunderland supporter, one of them, a diehard, came up, and he's given it big lodge and Geordie this, Geordie that, and stuff. And we got talking about MH17 and the money, 33,000, I think it was, they raised for flowers for Newcastle, for the two fans, etc. And it did do a huge thing to the rivalry. There's about when all that happened, there was a lot of respect shown from both sides. And I sang the song, and this diehard Sunderland supporter went from being diehard, angry, anti-Geordie to a bubbling mess. And it was like, it's still to this day, like that song is, it's a song that, because of Bannister retained, because of Eddie Howe, it's come third. And it doesn't really get talked about that much these days, but it's if you haven't heard it, go and give it a listen. It's called United We Stand. It's on YouTube, and it's a beautiful song because like, you know, a lot of people, the 17-minute clapping thing has fell away by the wayside and stuff like that. But for me, it's very much like Hillsborough. You know, for Newcastle, we lost two supporters going to a game in the same way that they lost the 98. You know, so. Or the 96, 97 now, with 98 because one of the parents died, etc. But if you haven't listened to it before, go and give it a listen. It's a really nice song. United We Stand on my YouTube.
There you go, guys. Thank you very much. Harry says, "What's the best way to about start creating music?"
I don't play music at all. I don't know a note. I don't know anything. I can sing. I can hum a tune. And luckily for me, the recording studio I use. They are my Peter Beardsley to me, being Andy Cole is the best way to describe it. They can pass the ball and that and score the goals. So I go in there with a rough idea on paper, whether it be lyrically, but with a melody in my head as a la da 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 da. And they are gifted in Broadwater Studios in Gateshead, where I go. The guys there have all used to be in a band together. So they're all multi-skilled musicians on various instruments. And but primarily, songwriting is very much just like poetry. You know, it's just sometimes it's like a blog. What they call these days, where you diary things, and there's many ways of getting into music. But I just normally find it takes a conversation or someone near us to say something of interest, and I've got my notes on my phone, and I'll make a note of what they've said or when they've said it, and like I say, it's quite simplistic for me it is, but if someone asks for my advice, and I'll just simply say, put pen to paper and write your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, write down funny things you've heard. Before you know it, somewhere among it, there's a song
there. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, yeah, because it was like when you were on last, and I said to you, how do you get some, and you, like you said to me, you'll sit in a restaurant and you'll hear a conversation, you think, oh, I could just drop that into a song, and then you'll write it down, and it's you know, you just don't think of it that way, but that's probably how a lot of people do their songs, just listen to different conversations going on.
Those ones at a Valentine's night, this guy had wrote it was a Mr. and Mrs. Competition thing that was on a gig that I was doing, and he had wrote this bit of paper out, and later on in the night when we were packing up, there had been like a poetry thing they had to do, like a flash poetry, where they had to write something quick, to swap, etc., and they'll mark like points and stuff, and that went on to become part of one of my songs. Do you know what I mean? It was literally, yeah. I just read it and was like, I really like that. And sure enough, I'm not going to say anything for legal reasons, but it's in one of my songs now. So there you
go. Harry says, how expensive do you think Wembley is? £20 enough for grub and a couple of drinks? Do you know what you're better off doing, Harry? Having something to eat before you go in the stadium. You know, if you're in London, there's a Wetherspoons on Baker Street, because you can jump on the tube from there straight up to Wembley Park. You know, the Metropole, which is Wetherspoons on Baker Street. it's a lot cheaper than going into the ground. But I would rather you, if I'm honest, buy outside the ground if you're going to have a meal or something before you go in, because you don't want to be paying for the grub in that place because it's expensive, and drinks are expensive in there. Well, they were back then. I'm going back, 6 years ago now, nearly 6 years ago. So I gather the prices have probably gone up even more. So yeah, I would try and find an outlet somewhere outside the ground, or in the vicinity of London, and just go there for something. You'll find it probably a lot cheaper than getting something in the actual stadium itself. So I hope that answers your question, Harry. And Sparta says a halo above Junior's head. I know it does look like a halo, doesn't it? That's what I was just thinking. It's his ring light behind him.
Yeah. He lights up to look like Casper the Ghost at the minute. But cheers, Stephen. Don't bother subscribing to his channel. Forget everything I said about the fishing.
Lee says, try and get a song with Jimmy Neal.
I've reserved my opinion on that one.
There you go. That's your answer to that, Lee. Jody says, TalkSport love winding Newcastle supporters up because they know they're baiting fall for any of their propaganda. It's like Junior said earlier, it's all for clicks at the end of the day.
Yep.
Trevor says, thank you, Junior. That was very kind of you.
Anytime, mate. Anytime at all.
Coffee says, Buskers coming home Newcastle can be rewritten as coming home Newcastle.
I don't want to cause controversy, but it's a legendary song. Leave it alone, and that
yeah, absolutely.
It's a double-edged sword, because I heard a version of someone's attempt to rewrite it. Don't do it. Leave it. It was written by someone that's no longer here, that can't be asked their permission of, and it should be left alone.
Yeah, well said. I mean, there is some songs out there, when you see people redo them, you think it's not the same as the original. And sometimes it's best not to rewrite originals. Some of them are just historical.
It's a classic song that's been done for the reason it was written at the time. And it was written very much around the time of like Alvida saying Pet and all that. If you actually listen to the words, he had to go away to get work and stuff. It is very much, like I say, when you listen to the song, there's a lot more to it than just coming home Newcastle, and it's a bloke that can't make ends meet. He's struggling to make ends meet. So he's being torn away from his home. It's quite a sad song, actually, when you think about it. But it was written for a reason. I don't know, did Ronnie Lambert at the time, had he worked through that? I believe he also had a working background at the time. So maybe for him it was his life story, maybe. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's a brilliant song, and I remember when it first came out in the 80s, and it's a brilliant song.
Someone knows him, someone knows his family members, get in touch. I'll be intrigued to know, was there any truth in the matter about that song, or was it personal to him, or let us know.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat knows any of his family or whatever, get in touch, absolutely. Christopher says, what I like about Banks of Retain is the way it relaxes me. It always chills me out after a tough day.
It's a funny story, actually. When we did it, and then we did the acoustic version. If you listen to the acoustic version kind of does that. I was surprised when we first got it, because it was so soon after Banks of Retain that the acoustic version came along, and I was very skeptical, thinking, oh. And but it's totally different. One of them is like I wouldn't say it's quite an up-tempo Lindisfarne kind of esque song. Busker, all of them greats are all in there. There's like a bowl of ingredients of all of what went before in making great Geordie music. There's a bit of everything in there. But then you take it and you put it to the acoustic version, and you get a different end result, and you get a different feedback from the audience in terms of how it gets across to them. It goes from being this song that celebrates and tells and talks about, and people can clap and enjoy, and it goes to like a far more bedtime story kind of feel, that they can sit and listen and really take it in from like a heartfelt, kind of like a movie scene.
Yes.
So if you haven't already done that, there's another thing you can go with, mate, and take a listen. I've listened to the acoustic version. It's well worth a listen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant. Rowley says, hi, Tony and Junior. Great show. Banks of Retine's a great song, and Barcelona won up. Yeah.
Thanks, Rory.
And Coffee says, it's coming home, Newcastle. Yeah, in Newcastle, you can keep your London wine. We walk the streets all day. I'll need with a trophy at the time.
Very good idea. Very good idea, Coffee. But like I say, it's Ronnie Lambert's music is very biblical for me. And
Yeah.
if you can't, honestly, I mentioned it before. Please, if you can, go and listen. Pure Geordie. I think you can find on Discogs and that if anyone's got CD players and stuff. I don't know where the back page might have a rare copy of it in. But Pure Geordie by Buster, honestly, it's so worthwhile.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere you can get it, surely.
I found it on a website, and it's you can play it like one long MP3, like the whole albums. Like, instead of being one track, two track, three. I can't think what the website was. There's an actual website that if you just Google it, Buster Pure Geordie, and you play it, you can just actually stream it on the website. And there's like songs on there like War Lass is a good old girl, the one that I chose from the whole wide world. War Lass has the prettiest face in the whole of the human race. If that's not a Geordie Valentine's or wedding song, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Sefton says, what do you think the antics of Nell Ranger selling cup final tickets, if true? I did see that. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting if that's the case.
The same bloke used to live or used to reside. I don't know if it was girlfriend or what, nearby to where I am. And he used to drive every day over a grass mound. It used to be like, because it was like a cul-de-sac. And he used to drive over the top of there and stuff, just his antics. So, like, personally, from knowing what I've known there to how he panned his career out. Does it surprise us? No. The kid's just wasted talent, and he's still obviously desperate to be seen and heard for whatever which reason. It goes to show he hasn't changed.
No. It's been reported to Club Wembley, so they're investigating, so that's
good.
Yeah, I'm glad they are. Mick says, hi Mick, he says, Talk Sport known as Talk Shite in my house.
What Talk Sport know about Newcastle United, you could write on a fly's arse with a felt-tip pen.
Yeah, exactly. Sefton says, what about a song if we win, we be running around Wembley with a cup? I knew you'd come back in with another question, Sefton.
If I didn't have COVID, mate, I would engage with you and find a way of trying to please you, but no. My brain's fogged today. Sorry, mate.
Mick says, Cole on the coast and he's just back from a run and my Thatcher's like a frozen prawn.
Excellent. Just make sure you put the seafood sauce.
Yeah. R.A. Coffee says, I saw a video of Man U fans singing the Man U version of the Bladen races at the Busby Memorial and Teg Ham was visibly feeling very unwell.
They were all outside all
that was awful.
I never ever
Have you seen it?
I never pass opinions on it, and I'll tell you something. I've had a few videos sent to me the last couple of days of cup songs, and I put a post out tonight on social media saying, look, at the end of the day, Newcastle's going to Wembley. Everyone wants to be part of it. It's all positive. It's all meant in good jest. These people are making an effort. Leave them alone. Just we as Geordies, honestly, can I just say something? And I mean this in the nicest way possible. Yeah. If you don't like something, you don't have to like it. But you don't. It's mainly Twitter that boils me pee for this. Like, and it's not just Newcastle fans. Obviously, Man United fans are looking for any which way to get embroiled. But if you don't like something, fair enough to leave an opinion, or if you feel you really need to. But you don't have to attack people. Some of the stuff I've seen on social media lately. I mean, for instance, I'll give you an instance. That Shaq, the DJ lad that did the set at St James's.
Oh yeah. It
was a big thing. He got found because of social media. Someone in their own righteous mind or I'm going to go looking back on his social media to dig dirt on him. Why? So they went and found photos or posts from 3 years ago, prior to the takeover, that he was an Arsenal fan. And then the next thing, rather than just why they even had to do that, I don't know. I still can't believe that someone took it upon themselves to go and try and dig dirt. The kids doing something great, but let's go and dig dirt on them. And they did. But then people were like, some of the comments towards him were like personal, and it went beyond that. So okay, he's been found to be supporting Arsenal, and then he, for whatever reason, he's changed to Newcastle. He's supporting the. I don't know the ins and outs, but it doesn't lead itself to say that on social media we then got the right to criticise him for who he is or what he does. It's not on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw them comments and some of them are rotten. I mean, it was disgusting. I mean, fair enough. You can say, oh, you were an Arsenal fan, but now you're a Newcastle fan. Fair enough. But, I mean, to go on and personally attack people, I think is absolutely bang out of order. And I've seen quite a lot of that on Twitter.
There was another lad yesterday, on Sky Sports News, Paul Martin, who I know, he's a singer on the pub and club circuit. He's brought out a cup final song. He was on Sky Sports News yesterday, and some of the comments on Twitter, it makes your stomach turn. You had a few kids on there with them singing and enjoying themselves. They go to the cup final. I remember being their age in 1990 and 1989 and all that kind of stuff. I was 15, being a kid and being excited about going to Wembley for the FA Cup or the Charity Shield, or we went through a spate of we had 2 or 3 cup appearances. I was a kid, my black and white balloons outside and bunting and enjoying it. And you've got Paul Morton there yesterday, and he's got a couple of kids behind him backing him on Sky Sports News. And people are coming out and saying to the police, oh, check his hard drive. And kid, leave him alone. Where's your effort? Where's your cup song? If you can't do better, then shut up. Put your keyboard down and stop it, because this. We talked earlier about mental health, and it literally the little things. Look at Caroline Flack. Do you remember? Does anyone remember that just before lockdown and COVID? Yeah. Be kind was the hashtag, and now all of a sudden the internet's just become a place where you can look at someone for 10 seconds and you're allowed to pass judgment as to what you think they're on, who they're. No, you're not. And I mean this sincerely, and it annoys us because it's actually Newcastle fans attacking their own. Stop it. So you don't have to like it. You don't walk around the supermarket putting post-it notes on everything you don't like. You pick up the stuff you do like, you put in your basket and you go out, you go and check out. You don't walk around telling everything, oh, I don't like that and I don't like that. Stop it. It's a person that's trying to make something of his life. He's trying to enjoy his 5 minutes. He's putting his own money to it. He's not taking money from anyone. He's not doing anything wrong. And the same goes with Shaq and all these other people that are trying to make an effort. If you don't like it, that's fine. But please, please, please stop with the personal attacks. It's not fair.
Yeah, well said, Junior. I mean, I said a while back on one of my shows that I remember back when, back in the 80s, I mean, you were young then, but I mean, I remember, it was an awful time with Stan Seymour and Gordon McKeegan in charge of the club. We were selling likes of Waddle, Piazzi, Gascoigne. We were a selling club. We were going nowhere really. And then John Hall came in with his Magpie group and, got in to get the takeover done and took the club over. And I remember back then, everybody was on a different level because we were like, hang on a minute, whoa, Magpie group's taking over. Is he going to do anything different? Because at the time it was like, are you actually going to do anything different, than what you've said? And he did. He put his money where his mouth was. And you brought Keegan in, which was a shock to everybody. I mean, I was shocked when Keegan come through the doors. And it was like, wow, is this really happening?
Yeah. And
so the club just started going on the up. But then I look at the takeover we had recently, and, when we got rid of our former owner, because I don't like saying his name, but we got rid of him. And we got the takeover done. But what I see now is, and what I didn't see back then was, but I've never seen so much division in the fan base as I see now to what I saw back when John Hall took the club over. I know there was no social media back then. Fair enough.
That's why, because it's now there's now more room for people to opinionate. And social media without football, just in general, Tony, is a dangerous place to play. It's a dangerous place to play. I kind of get that there is a stereotypical music, whether it be the Stone Island Jacket, the Liam Gallagher, the Noel Gallagher, the Stone Roses, all them kind of bands, the Jerry Cinnamon. I get all that. I'm not that person. Paul Martin isn't that person. Shaq isn't that person. We're all different genres, different kinds of music. We're not always going to tick boxes, but that doesn't mean that you've got the right to come out and personally attack people on their image, or you're allowed to use paedophilia as just a throwaway word. It's wrong. It's dangerous, and stigma like that can stick. And you don't know what their background is. You don't know what they're going through at the time. It's got to stop, and I mean this sincerely. Come at me all you like. I'm thick-skinned. I'm big-boned. Whatever you want to say about me, I don't give two shits. But personally, I've sat and stomached so much lately with Shaq and that. And I just find it sorry. I'm just reading one of the comments that Shaq's had to come out and explain because of his skin colour, yet trying to find a way to fit in with his mates. Why? He should not have to explain himself. He's merely doing something for the good of his talent. He got Newcastle United bouncing, St James's Park bouncing. He's got a once-in-a-life opportunity. Praise the lad. Put your hand on his back and say, well done, son. You've earned that. Don't sit there and try and find fault with them. Don't sit there. Or, you know what it is? It comes down to jealousy. It comes down to jealousy. Nothing more than. So unless you can do better, unless you've got better to offer and put on the table, shut up. Top and bottom of it. It'll probably end up, someone will end up putting a comment on Twitter tonight after seeing this today. And I hope it's for the positive. I hope anyone watching this, if you've got Twitter, get on there. Tag us Junior Turner 84.
Yeah.
Until we start standing together and calling these people out. Because Twitter's doing nothing about it neither. I mean, we can sit here all night and talk and we're blue in the face, but right now, we're talking about Newcastle United. Your show's called, it's all black and white. Stop getting on our own people's backs. We'll support our own. That's what makes the North East great. Said from the outset before when I was talking about, the economy and all that with the cup final, we've got to support our own because we don't get a fair shake as it is. We're very much out in the cold when it comes to the government. We've got to look after our own from every aspect. So please, 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 when you see someone making an effort, if you don't like it, scroll past it. If you do, get on there and support them. Share, comment, like. That's how you do it. Don't get on the person's back because you don't know what the person's going through, and you don't know your one remark could be that one remark that leads to something worse that you wouldn't want to happen to your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't remember what it was now, but there was something on it. I can't remember what. Anyway, it was about a month ago. It was on Twitter, and I just made a comment. I put what I thought was a constructive comment in there, and I got hammered for it. So, do you know what I did? I just deleted my comment. I thought, do you know what? I can't be bothered with it. And I just deleted my comment and let them get on with it. I thought, I'm trying to putting a constructive comment in here. And, I can't remember what it was about now. But then I was like lambasted for it. And I thought, you know what? Doesn't matter. And I just took my comment off.
Loud opinion now, and that's a sad part of it because media doesn't allow for it. But you know what it is? Everyone's entitled to an opinion. It's freedom of speech. But sadly now, it's got to the point, like I say, I'm all for that. And I'm all for, you might like Sean Longstaff in a game. I might not like him. I've got my opinion because he didn't do this or he didn't do that. That's fine. That's constructive. But to go out there and merely throw derogatory terms, which are, some of them are horrific, at people, why? I don't get it. And I just think, right now, everything's positive in Newcastle United. We've come such a long way in the 15 months, 16 months at best. We should be right now. Everything should be positive, and by everything I mean everything. And if you were to turn around 16 months ago and said to someone sitting watching Steve Bruce football that in 16 months' time you'll be in a cup final, sitting fourth in the league, would you take it?
Yeah.
And still to find people still not happy and still to find people attacking others, like what is it? Do we really want punishment in our lives? Do we really need that awful bad thing in our life that much? That because now Steve Bruce has gone, oh well, so we'll jump on somebody else. We don't need that, man. We don't need it. Look, just get on each other's back and support each other. That's all it's about because we're all from the northeast. Let's just like and love your own.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know some people are like a bit funny, but I look at it and I think, yes, I didn't see these divisions back in them days when John Hall took over, as I say. But I remember back then, I mean, when you used to go to work, it was like, oh, when we were in the Premier League under John Hall, it was like, well, I wonder what player we can say. Because obviously there was no transfer windows then, so you could sign at any time during the season. We were like, oh, do you think we'll get Shearer in the summer? Oh, yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? And, and people weren't talking down to you and saying, oh, don't be stupid, having your expectations that high that we're going to get Alan Shearer into the club or something like that,
Yeah.
But now if you said something like that, oh, by the way, well, if say, for instance, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but say Victor Osimhen, for instance, he's one of the top strikers, and if you go out and say it to somebody on Twitter, oh yeah, we could get him in the summer, and you'd probably just get a whole load of abuse, even though you've just said, oh, I wouldn't mind having him in the summer. But if you'd said that back then, like I say about Shearer, people would be like, that would be a fantastic sign if he come in the club, and it just shows you how different today's people are.
I think you're totally right. I think from every aspect we've got to. There's such a divide all the time and nitpicking, and everyone's got an opinion. That it's all constructive and it's all healthy to have a discussion, but to drag someone down and to then insult them, it just doesn't make sense to me. But I think what right now, honestly, and getting back to the positives, I just hope and pray come Sunday, Newcastle can go out, get a result, and we can really see the region at its best, because I don't think anything else will compare. Like you said, you go back to 1991 when we won the promotion with Keegan. I think football is much bigger than that because of money and business. And I think if we were to win this on Sunday, I don't think you would see anything unless Newcastle won the title in the foreseeable, which is not unrealistic. But for this moment now, I really hope on Sunday we'll come away with that trophy, and come this time next week, you're sitting on your show and everything, like your podcast and everything will blow up, because it'll be monumental and it'll have such a positive impact for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Lee says Byrne will do his dance on Sunday when we win. Let's hope. Because he's from Blythe, says Coffee.
Yeah.
Dan says evening to you, Dan. And Trevor says, well said, Junior.
Thank you. Sorry about the rant, but I had to.
No, absolutely. No, not at all. Lee says, Shaq was spot on. Good luck to the lad. Exactly. And Sefton says, Junior signed cover, Banks the River Time, placed inside my signed frame Newcastle shirt from 2010, hanging proudly in our living room.
Thank you.
And Sefton says, well said as well. Mick says, I was always taught that tearing down others doesn't build you up, it just makes you a bellend. It's rife online. Absolutely, Mick, well said. Social media is full of keyboard warriors looking for trouble, not only in football, but every single walk of life aspect. Yeah, absolutely, Geordie.
Yeah.
Paul says, very good evening, Tony and Junior. Good evening, Paul. Geordie saying, well said.
Cheers, Geordie.
Phil says, hi, folks. Hi, Phil.
Phil.
Paul and Sefton talking. Harry says, I never use social media. If I want to interact with fellow supporters, it's via YouTube, as it's proper supporters, not clowns. Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't know what people are doing it online. I mean, I know a lot of these people that are saying they're fans. It could be like you say, Sunderland fans or whatever, just winding people up. And
That's the mad part, though, Tony. Hand on heart, I've not suffered much when it comes to Sunderland fans. I've honestly got to say that I can probably count on one hand, let alone two. Well, at times I've had anything said that was in a. Even then, it's nothing that caused upset, and that it's not aiming at Newcastle fans, but it's kind of like just. I said before, but no nice to say don't say that at all. But mostly when it's Maroon, should be back on Maroon. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I think it was when I'd done the Carabao Cup semi-final draw live. I think I had a Sunderland fan on, and he was quite nice. He said, "Oh, good luck good luck for who you get in the semi-finals," and
It's all good for the economy. It's all good for the Northeast, and therefore
Yeah.
I don't see why there should be any negativity at all. And like I've just said before, if you would have swapped places 14 months ago to where we are now, I think anyone with a black and white pulse would have swapped it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had a great lad on last night, recent Man United fan, Devils Rising, and he said to me, he says, my only concern is, he says, if you score first on Sunday, he says, it's going to be hard for us to get back in the game because your defence is watertight.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think Sunday is going to be a massive game for everyone. And most of what you've got to think as well, Wembley is a massive pitch, and that in itself is draining. So they've got a game tonight.
Yeah, which they're losing 1-0 at the moment.
Of 48 hours to turn it around in terms of rehydration and muscles and etc. Relaxing. So it's you've got to. There's a lot going against them for Sunday in terms of, like I say, Wembley's not a certainly. I think it's one of the widest and longest pitches, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
the average, bigger than the average pitch, isn't it? So that in itself could. And especially when we've got a lot of young legs in there, you've got your Willick, your Longstaff, you've got Bruno, you've got Almiron. They can cover a lot of ground, And
Isak.
yeah, I mean, be interested to see what choices Eddie makes on Sunday. He's got a full selection there, give or take the goalkeeper scenario we've touched on. But I certainly think same old, would be the way for me. And maybe 60 minutes, then maybe look at Isak. I'm positively hopeful that we're in a great place squad-wise, etc., to be going into this game. It couldn't come at a better time. Yeah, okay, Nick Pope, but like I say, I've got no qualms about Karius being in goal whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and I think, right, okay, our form hasn't been great over the past few weeks. But I think a lot of it is to do with getting to the cup final. It's been playing on their minds. And obviously, instead of focusing on the bread and butter, which is the Premier League, we've lost a little bit of focus on that. We're focusing more on the Wembley trip. And but I think Sunday, you're going to see a better performance. Eddie Howe said last Saturday after the Liverpool game, he says, we can play a lot better than that. Our quality's a lot better than that. He says, he says, we need to get that quality back, and why we're up here in the table, and I totally agree with what Eddie Howe's saying. Yeah. Now I think we'll be a different team on Sunday, and I can see us coming out firing on all cylinders.
You've got one or two players there that are tittering on yellow cards, let alone every player doesn't want to get injured for it. So maybe some of the tackles that could have been put in haven't been put in. Some of the runs that could have been made haven't been made for fear of hamstrings. So many factors, psychologically, let alone mentally, let alone physically. So for me, it's only right to see what we've seen happen in terms of the last couple of games. But it'll all lend itself in a positive way when it comes to Sunday, I believe. So I think for everything that's went wrong, it will only lend itself to better what will happen on Sunday.
Yeah, I would think Eddie Howe's got them well trained this week, and and he's probably got all. I mean, I know we've been sloppy on a few goals, especially at the back post, but Eddie will have got that put right, and come Sunday, it'll be a totally different game. Keep Rashford quiet and that midfield four quiet, and you can win the game because Man U's defence ain't that great at the back, to be fair. And David De Gea, as we all know, is prone to errors as well. I mean, he was ridiculed when he first joined Man United because he was full of errors, wasn't he? And he still is now to this present day. I mean, he got away with one last week against Leicester.
The problem is now, though, Tony, the modern day goalkeeper actually plays as a sweeper.
Yeah.
So a lot of the game, they're giving the ball to feet. And it's not a natural being for the goal, even though they train it all week. When you're put in front of 30, 40, 50, 60,000 fans, and you've got, cameras on you everywhere, it's a totally different environment. And then when you've got, Harry Kane or someone of his stature bearing down on you, it's a total different thing. And errors are made, but I certainly think if anyone asks me on Sunday, what can Newcastle do to better the chances, then Rashford definitely seems to be a man on fire. And Casemiro, I think you've got to silence him as well, because I think he seems to be the string puller, like the Roy Keane or the Paul Scholes of yesteryear.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's prone to a red card. We've seen that against Palace when he got a hold of Will Hughes on the throat. So
yeah,
we've seen what he's like if he can get wound up. I Like Coffee says, if Man United lose today, do you think they'll look to bounce back against us? They will do, but their turnaround is not as great as what ours is. They've only got basically, they'll have Friday and probably half a Saturday before they'll have to either fly down or coach down to London.
Are they away tonight?
They're at home.
They're at home, so yeah. So it's Thursday. So it's a very tight schedule.
Tight.
Yeah. Players going home tonight, then having to be report back to Carrington tomorrow. They'll probably travel to Wembley tomorrow. It's a lot of logistical issues to overcome, and let alone like we've just talked about there, the any knocks, bruises, injuries, they've got to report to the hotel, and it doesn't make for a comfortable turnaround like from the outlook, is it?
No, not really. And especially if they do equalise and it goes to extra time, then it's certainly going to be interesting then. If they're playing 120 minutes of football.
Yeah.
Do you? Who is your second favourite team? He says more lasses watching.
Favourite team? It's a good question, actually. I'm going to. It's a weird one, but I'm going to say Benfield. Paul Brayson, former Newcastle player. I sponsor him, and he, as far as I know, I haven't seen any update. Last I heard, he was caretaker manager up there as well. Had a change in management, and Brayson was standing in. So I follow them quite closely on social media, and Newcastle Blue Star as well. I follow them as well. They're another local team that are doing great things, and I was quite fortunate just after Banks of the Retain. I was invited up to be guest of honour and perform on the pitch at half time, and the great little setup we've got up there for a little stadium and fantastic and a great turnout, and both clubs are both got great little grounds, great little setups, got great people involved, and especially at that level, it's great to see because they're certainly they're doing everything they can to, not just on pitch, on and off the pitch, to make the place as good as it can be. So if you find yourself at a loose end and there's no football on, there's nothing worth just a couple of quid to go and watch. It's they're both doing great things. Benfield have had a little bit of an off patch of the couple of results I have seen, but I'm very much a grassroots supporter when it comes to football as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I used to go, and if I couldn't get to an away game when I was going to the matches, the home matches, if it was away and I couldn't get that game or I didn't go, I used to go and sit and watch Gateshead play, along with about another 2,000 fans. Gates used to be absolutely brilliant, especially when Newcastle were playing away, because most Newcastle fans descended on the International Stadium and boosted their gates up, and the Heat Army absolutely loved it because, they had that extra support. And
I
I
think
tell you what, you see some good games in that National League.
one of the when you talk about supporters, I think in terms of grassroots, I think one of the greatest, in my eyes, one of the best supporter clubs in that kind of way is North Shields. They've got loyal supporters, and they're a great little bunch. And I see a lot of their travels on social media and stuff, and they always seem to be doing well. And like I say, they're very very loyal, good, bad, and different. Because obviously they won the Vase a few years ago, massive massive event for them, and the support thereafter. Some people might have thought would turn up, and as things went, either which way, then people would disappear back. They haven't. They've seemed to remain, and it's great to see. So, North Shields supporters are definitely one of the best in grassroots for me. Like, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, Sefton's wife's a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, well, we've all got problems.
Yeah. Jody says, what team would you go with? He says he'd go Carrius, Trippier, Botman, Share, Byrne, Bruno, Longstaff, Joe Linton, Almiron, ESM, and Wilson. That's not a bad lineup. I mean, I can't see Willock walking straight back into that side. I can see ESM keeping his place, especially after last week, the way he played well against Liverpool.
I don't know
And
whether
that pitch would be great for him, wouldn't it?
I don't know whether or not you might go Willock first half and just play him a half. I don't know. That'll be the deciding factor. Which 45 do you go with in terms of what you've got with ESM is going forward. You've got 11 men coming back. You've got 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
So against Man United, you possibly need 11 coming back as you do going forward. But look at Eddie Howe might have a plan that, like you said earlier, you might want to just get at them. If that's the case, then ESM's definitely a man. They go out and have an impact, and then maybe bring Willock on and shut up shop. So
yeah, I mean especially if they're going to be tired, Man United, after tonight's game. I mean,
yeah,
let's hope Man U equalise and it goes all the way through extra time.
Definitely.
And even to penalties, because that can be draining.
Psychologically, definitely.
Yeah. Coffee says there was a time we had 5 keepers. It didn't make sense back then, but it's just our luck. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Jody says, thoughts on only doing an open top bus parade if we win the cup, unlike 99 and 98?
That's only for a win, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure they've got plans drawn up for the route and everything. It's just a matter of just waiting to see if we win that trophy. Yeah. Lee says, Isak and Maxi on half when Man U are running out of steam. Maxi and Isak will damage Man United in the second half. Yeah, that's not a bad shout, is it? I mean, when they came on against Southampton in that first leg, it was Isak's run, and he panicked the Southampton defence and got the crossover for Joe Linton to score.
Yeah.
So that might work well, yeah. Bring them on after the half time or into the second half. Jody says Rashford and Casemiro are the 2 players we need to stop. Stop them, and Man U will be very weak.
Yep.
Yeah, totally agree. And Bruno Fernandes. Extra time tonight will be Man United's worst nightmare, says Harry. Yeah, I would reckon so. Lee says, my second team is Darlington. With me living there before I moved to Berwick. He says, and I've seen Dan Byrne play there a few times. Yeah, wow. Nice little club. I mean, they're well down the divisions at the moment. National League North, aren't they? But that was all down to George Reynolds, wasn't it, with the club and building that 25,000-seater stadium because he thought he was going to get them to the Premier League one day.
Yep.
Sefton says, I was keeping an eye on Whitley Bay results at Amblithe Spartans. Yeah. Harry says, a doctor prescribes medications these days for being a Liverpool fan.
Say nothing.
No. Harry says, also, NUFC players will share bonuses of $1 million if they win the club's first trophy in 48 years in the Carabao Cup final against Man United on Sunday.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. That's not bad. It was actually 54 years since we won a trophy. Wow. 69. And Mick says it'd be nice if Manchester Reds score, stay that as it is, and then get some extra time exercise. Yeah, exactly. That's what we want. We want Man U to equalise, don't we? So that actually they have equalised. It's now 1-1. Fred has scored.
Brilliant.
So there you go. It might go to extra time. Let's hope. Let's hope it goes to extra time. But I mean, what have you thought about our performances in the last few weeks? I mean, as I've said, I think it's due down to the cup. I mean, what's
Wembley,
your opinion on it?
Wembley's in the main, isn't it? It's clear to see, and it was always going to be the case. It's such a big thing, and how long it's took for to get there, and so I just think, look, it's all. I really think it's all going to add to a positive outcome on Sunday. Players have, like I said, they've escaped yellow cards. They've not wanted to get injured. They wanted to play in the final, and they're there now. So go out on Sunday, make the city proud, come back with a trophy, and they'll be kings forevermore. You know, they'll walk they'll be written in history, and it's something that unless you're Bob Moncur, you haven't experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I say, if this Man U result stays the way it is and it goes to extra time, then yeah, all the happy. I mean, my manager at work, he's a Man United fan, and he said to me, he's moaning about the game on Sunday. He said, well, really, he says the EFL should have changed the cup final, knowing that if there's a Europa League on, he says, especially against Barcelona, that should have been changed to maybe a midweek game. And I thought, well, not really, no.
Yeah, sounds like it's all over again, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're going into meltdown because they're playing a game tonight and then again on Sunday. Well, part and parcel of football, unfortunately. And yeah, we've had a 8-day rest, but you know, that's not our fault.
Unlucky for some.
Absolutely, exactly. I mean, I did say before the season started, before a ball was kicked, that we would finish 7th, win the Carabao Cup and get the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Well, we didn't get that far in the FA Cup, but we've certainly got a chance to win the Carabao Cup. And, you know, even so, even if we win the Cup and finish 7th, I'll be happy with that because that's progress because we've got European football next season.
God, definitely. I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. I think we needed to be more realistic as supporters in terms of like I said to you before, if we finish 4th, well, we just have to deal with it. But certainly, I just think Champions League's too soon. If we finish somewhere around 7th, come the end of the season, I would certainly be happy to go into Europe and dip our toe in the little pond before we go in the pool. And I think the cup final, you know, we couldn't ask for it. And the progress being made is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I just hope and pray, come the end of the season, we can all look and see progress, which I think it's inevitable. We can see progress as it is. But I think for everything that's happened so far, Eddie Howe, the staff, the players, the owners, it's a conjoined effort, and that's what's been missing in the past. It's been a fractured club. Top to bottom has had no communication, and it showed. And at long last, we've got that. So even that in itself, before you even get down to the football, it goes to show that there's big changes already happened, and it's reflecting thereafter. So I'm happy, and I think everyone else should be as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know, I mean, the communication side of the club is changed a hell of a lot, and it's even better than it used to be. I mean, we used to get no communication at the club. You know, you even see like Jimmy Rubin and Miadad having banter on Twitter, and that's great to see.
It's real, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just nice to see. It's nice to see that side of it, you know. And but it's better than having no communication whatsoever.
No, it's all. It's not even PR either. They're just two lads that's friends and living it out in front of everyone and showing that they're human and they're not robotic and they're not just there for sales and finance and sports shite erect and no, like I say, just everything right now is positive, and long may it continue. And I just see positive things for the future. If this is the start and it's happened this quick, which I think is quicker than anyone probably foreseen, then what a great start it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, if you like what you see, please smash the like. It does help the channel up the search results. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe. Free to do so, helps the channel grow. And the bell notification tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows. And if you want to make a donation to the channel, there's a link there in the chat as well. So thank you very much indeed, guys. I mean, it's been a dizzy few weeks for this guy, but I mean, I had him on my channel. You came on the channel commenting. Chris Dobie, a good friend of ours, and I tell you what a lovely, lovely lad he is. And do you know what was weird was the fact is, after him being on my channel, because he was talking to me from Milton Keynes, he goes and wins the tournament, and then he goes and wins the first one in the Premier League against Van Gerwen in the final.
Yeah,
and somebody messaged me and said, "Are you his lucky charm? Because since he's been on your show, he's done nothing but win." And I'm like, I don't know, but he's just lost tonight there to Van Gerwen 6-3.
By the time we got the pints in any case, I'm sick of buying him beer, so I got to be on it now.
I mean, he did say, he says the next time you come on, he wants to come on as well. And I said, yeah, absolutely, Chris. And
he never turns up. He promises he'll be there, and he never turns up. He's a crap date.
But no, he's a smashing lad, and you know,
great to have. And, great to have. Doing great. Like I said before, doing great things for the Northeast, and yeah, anything positive in the Northeast, we should embrace and support.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody hasn't seen my show with Chris Dobie, it's there to go and watch. Just go and watch it. It was a cracking show, and he did say he wants to come back on again, so that's not a problem. But I think with having these Premier League darts on a Thursday, it's probably a bit harder for him at the moment. But I mean, we did ask him about the Premier League back then, and he said, "Oh, I don't know if I want to be in the Premier League darts." Well, he went out and won the Masters, and that was the first televised event he won.
He's there now.
Yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe the dart he was playing in that Masters. But that finally had me going, because I was like, Jesus, come on. You're making me bloody nervous, yeah? You know? And
very well.
He was messaging, this is nerve-wracking, this. He says, what's Chris doing? Just get that winning dart, will you? And then he hit it, and it was like, yes. And it was... And I thought, I hope that's the omen now. And I did message Chris, and I said, I just hope now, because you've won the Masters, the Carabao Cup's coming home as well. So let's hope it's a Geordie double.
And Gary Wilson, another local lad, Wallsend, snooker player. He was the under-21 world champion when he was only 16, I think. He's just won the Scottish Open as well. The first ever major snooker title to be won by a Northeast player.
Wow, brilliant.
So there's one fight to maybe get a hold of and get in the channel as well, because he's had a great year. So again, hopefully him winning, Dobie winning, maybe it is written in the stars at the Northeast to place for trophies this year then.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope so. I mean, that'd be absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Sefton says extra time would be great, yeah. Jody says, our performance over the last few weeks has been down to a number of reasons. Wembley, Bruno missing, and last week the circumstances before the match didn't help with Christy Natsu. I mean, touching on that, I mean, what's your thoughts on Christy Natsu? I mean, you know, he done well for the club when he was here, and so sad that, you know, not only Christy Natsu, but over 40,000 people have lost their lives in this terrible tragedy.
I certainly think, there needs to be one or two things looked into with that as well, because there was a lot of early noises made that led to hope, and you know, he'd been found, he was in hospital and stuff. There needs to be a lot more kind of done around things like that. And again, was social media playing a part in that? I don't know, but sadly it wasn't to be. And seeing his wife and children at the ground the other night was just heartbreaking, and his thoughts are with them and his family. And I see that Stefan's just mentioning about the donation, etc. It's great. Everyone donate money to the appeal for his family and stuff. I think it's great, but just so sad to far too soon, too young, and to think that he scored the winning goal the night before as well. Sad, you know, really sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Sefton says his wife sings Banks in the River Tyne in the car when he's driving.
That's good. Just keep singing the right
Yeah.
banks at that time.
Mick says, I'll say one thing, this documentary will be one hell of a watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Jody says, hit the thumbs up, show some support. Thank you very much. Indeed, Jody. Jody says, yeah, Chris Toby's class. I'd love to see him back on the channel maybe before the next match so that he wins it all.
Yeah.
I'll have to see when he's available to get him on. That's the thing. He's a busy man at the minute, you know. But I tell you what, I think when the Premier League darts comes to the arena, I think that's going to be, well, that's probably sold out now, and that'll be a cracking night.
Yeah, you better use Banks of the Retain to his intro if he doesn't fall out.
He uses Ant and Deck, doesn't he? Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, mate, come on.
I know, he needs to use the Banks of the River Tyne. Yeah. I think that's what somebody else, I mean, you suggested that and somebody else did in the chat as well that night.
I'm going to speak. I'm going to take him hostage till he does.
Yeah, you can't play darts until you do that.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Yeah, Sefton Kanath say thank you to our group for donating. Yeah, absolutely. It's I mean, it's a time of need for his family as well, and it's just heartbreaking, really. They said it was mistaken identity that they thought it was that soon. It wasn't in, you know, but you just think, how are you getting these things wrong, you know? And I know people can get things wrong, but to that degree, I'm not sure.
But yeah, but the football club that he played for, they reiterated it, that he'd been found in all at a professional level like that. Surely the football club has more means of clarifying things than perhaps John or Bob on Twitter. So on their part, there needs to be certainly an internal investigation as to why they were saying what they said when they did and raising false hope.
Yeah. Mick says agreed. Seeing the Bens before the match had my eyes watering. Yeah, that was sad when I saw that. And but I thought we did them proud, and with a minute's applause. I mean, this is another question which people have said to me, and I mean, Sefton was one of them asking it, and I think Rowley went to the match last week, and he said he was disgusted by it. But when doing the minute's applause, the Liverpool fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" through it, and some people are saying, I
thought it was a nice touch. Personally, I thought it was a nice touch.
That's what I thought to some degree, because I thought, well, actually, are they singing it because of Atsu? And it's a nice touch if they are. I don't think they're being disruptive.
No, I don't think that at all. I think it was meant in a nice way that that's their tragedy kind of song in a way, and that was them kind of showing that we're all together in this time of grieving. I think personally, but again, I don't think there was any malice in that. I think Liverpool's been through enough of their own to not be that club to do that in a disrespectful manner.
Yeah, absolutely. Jody says, let's get ready to rumble. It's so past it. It's about time Banks of the River Tyne took over.
I wholly agree.
Yeah. Lee says, seen the interviews with the players, it was spot on. Right, okay. Which interviews were that?
Oh no, he's talking about things with Dan Burn and Longstaff.
Oh, maybe Trippier and Burn, mate, because they were talking, weren't they?
Yeah, I've seen Dan Burn and stuff, and Sean Longstaff. One appearing on YouTube, one I haven't watched yet, but it's great, man. Look, at the end of the day, I've said from the outset tonight, anything that's positive, and it's just reflecting right across the region, and it's like Christmas Eve for Geordies, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't heard any of the interviews yet. I'll have to have a catch up, and it's hard because when you're at work all day and then you're trying to, but I'll get to catch up with them interviews.
Watch them before you go to bed, and then go to sleep and dream of Newcastle lifting the cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, people like we've said, like Kieran Trippier will go up and lift up the trophy, but I think Lascelles will go with him because Lascelles is club captain. So normally they share the responsibility, don't they?
No Trippier, he'll actually offer Lascelles the captain's armband and force him to stairs.
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan says, never heard Banks of the River Tyne, but heard Tony speak about it before. Haven't gone to listen to it, and then since then, we're getting in the mood for the weekend.
Listen to Banks of Retain and then listen to We Love Eddie Howe as well, because that's the new one.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, you love that as well, Ryan. That is absolutely fantastic. And he says, how are you, the lads? Mick says, I saw a nice gesture from the Liverpool fans. Things they've had over the years, they wouldn't
No.
take the P. No, absolutely not. I thought it was all right. To be fair, I didn't think there was any malice in it whatsoever. Sefton says, how does a club pick songs before games?
No, that's really good as mine. I
Yeah.
contact Rob Byron. I've got a contact for him. Send him the music. If it gets played, it gets played. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't know the process thereafter. He's a match day DJ. Goes to him. From me personally, it goes to him, and then if it gets played, it gets played. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's up to the powers that be, and I don't know what that process is.
We still want you there though to sing Banks of the River Tyne on that pitch.
Me too. But hee-ho.
And I have said to the viewers before, if anybody knows anybody close to the club,
Well,
then please mention it.
I'll tell you that I have spoken to someone at the club regarding
Yeah.
that. I got told it's not possible. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
that's strange, isn't it?
And that's someone that is the person that would year-on-year as well. So it's not someone that just works at the club. It was the actual decision maker.
Yeah.
But I believe that if the people above found out or heard the song, then I think it might be a different outcome, because it took for them to actually hear Shaq themselves and see him online, and they actioned it themselves, which was my dad.
Yeah.
So not to say that I won't be going about my business to get it to them as well.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that would be great if they did like have you on the pitch. I mean, can you imagine before we say play what an Arsenal or a Man United and you're on the pitch beforehand? I mean, that would just lift the whole crowd even more, you know.
Like I said, I've went to the person that be at Newcastle and spoke to them. I haven't seen Shaq on the pitch. And then I believe there was also a lady on the pitch at the weekend, which was after the conversation. There was a lady on the pitch reading a poem for Bobby Robson. So it's pretty much the same. Logistically, it would be the same in terms of what it would require, i.e., a microphone in my hand and someone pressing play, like a Rob Byron, or the music and the music playing out over the tannoy. I believe that's what it would take. And I know that the ladies' team, when they played at home last, there was all that hype around getting bodies there. I know that a band played at half time on the pitch. Ladies band singing about Newcastle. So it has been done, but for some reason, when I inquired via Lee Marshall, I'll give a name. Lee Marshall's the fans liaison officer for Newcastle. I was told it was logistically impossible. There you go.
Oh, there
So
we are.
if anyone's on Twitter and you fancy finding Lee Marshall, then that's not. I'm not encouraging it, but that's your man. That if you're wanting to support that, or you feel that needs to happen, then who am I to say you can't express your views?
Exactly, the power of the fans. There you go.
Sometimes it takes a raindrop to start a waterfall.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's well said. Sefton says it used to be requested by the fans.
Well, but Rob Byron, fair play to Rob Byron. He's been very forthcoming and communicating and stuff, and he has done his bit for us with Banks of the Rotain. But he was told regarding We Love Eddie Howe. I don't know where this came from. I can't confirm because he hasn't told us. But his level of communication regarding that being... So I take it there must be a process. He has to get it vetted. But the comeback on that one was that the club are anti-Sweet Caroline. So there you go. Again, I don't know where that came from, but I can only surmise that it might have been the same process that I undertook to try and inquire if there was ever an opportunity arise that I would like to perform on the pitch.
Yeah. Interesting that. Jody says Dan Byrne went from earning £60 a week at Asda to playing for the Toon at Wembley in a cup final. I just hope he rounds it off with a cup win. That would be a fantastic fairy tale, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course it would. Of course it would.
Harry says, what songs inspire you, Junior?
If I was to give you my Spotify playlist, you would think I'd lost the plot. It's got everyone from Neil Diamond, Pavarotti, Celine Dion, Shania Twain, Lewis Capaldi, Sam Fender, Andrew Cushion, Beatles, Lindisfarne. Honestly, I listen to an eclectic variety of music. Everything inspires me in different ways. I'm very much like you. You sad, I listen to a sad song. If I'm happy, I listen to a happy song. And other times, I find songs, I suppose, is the best way of. Sometimes you just kind of listen to a song and the next song jumps on and you find songs that go, oh, they resonate with us. And that's how I find music tends to inspire. But mainly it's on a need to be basis that if I'm feeling pissed off, then I'll go and find a song to feel pissed off about. So yeah.
There you go, Harry. That answers your question. Ryan says, listen to We Love Anyhow. I've played it as soon as I've opened my eyes for the past 2 months. Makes me hair stand up on my arms.
Yeah, I was really fortunate. I'll tell you a quick tale because I can read to some song. Let me think. I'm sitting here in the room, 4 doors away from me. There's a guy called Dave, who's known as DJ Spike. Many years ago in the 90s, when it was CDs, there was no Facebook or anything. He had a song out called Son of a Chava. He's a DJ. He's been DJing abroad and in the big market and stuff all of his life. And he rewrote, it was Eminem, Real Slim Shady. And it was called Son of a Chava. And Alan Robson's Night Owls and everything. People were ringing in for it. And then, what people were known for, his claim to fame was that song was like massive, like in terms of HMV and stuff. HMV rang him up for CDs and stuff because there was a demand for it at the time. And then he went on to release Hey Shira, which now sings Hey Callum Wilson to. That was Dave, DJ Spike. So DJ Spike is a real close family friend. He lives 4 doors away from me. And I always listened to Hey Shira that like in writing banks all the time stuff. We listened to loads of Geordie songs, and one of them was that. And it's the intro on it. How are lads and lasses? Let's have some more, please. I think when you hear that, it's very like Winston Churchill of a Geordie. You know what I mean? And like when you hear it, it's like a call to take a battle, a call to battle. And when I listened to it, I was like, get in, that's class. And so the moment that I had the plan for We Love Anyhow, I talked them into coming out of retirement to put them lines down and rehash them and make them a bit more modern. And I'm so pleased he did, because as soon as I hear the intro to the song, even though it's a tongue-in-cheek song, I had the hair on my my arm stand up too. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Latest in the score, Man United took the lead through Anthony on 73 minutes, so they are now 2-1 up against Barcelona at the moment. But Barcelona could come back.
Loads of time for Barca. Make it the 93rd minute. Let them score then.
Yeah. Jody says it was Lady Elsie who read the quote about Sir Bobby Robson.
Was it Lady Elsie? You see, I didn't realise it was her. Someone told me it was just a lady. Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Excellent. Such says I'm on it. Harry says that's my playlist as well.
Yeah, Harry, honestly, man, like, people wouldn't believe, but I was brought up, you see, my dad was a DJ when I was younger. My dad done 7 nights a week, and so music's always been in my house, like, in terms of genres. It's been like from there to there, and I've been around it all, and I think it's kind of reflective of my own thoughts and feelings towards what I actually listen to as well.
Yeah, and then the insane 2-1 to Man United as well. I mean, it's we want Barcelona to come back and get an equaliser. They've still got time yet. There's still 15 minutes plus stoppage time, so they could still come back and take it to extra time. But
if you haven't done so, like, go and listen to Wheel of Eddie Howe, because it's a great song, and it's definitely it's a great song. If you're travelling to Wembley tomorrow, Saturday, get it on your playlist, get it on your portable speakers. Trevor did. Used to do gigs with me dad, and it was people like Trevor that inspired me. I used to go along to these gigs. I know I'm diverting here for a second, but I used to go along to these gigs as a kid in the summer holidays, or when I was allowed to, when we were off school, and we used to go and take the gear and stuff and carry the gear in, and my dad would be setting up, and there'll be a singer on with him. And sometimes I would be allowed to stay a little bit later if I head out the way from the priest coming in or anything like that. I got to see these people such as Trevor performing, and I always remember having this like feeling of like, whoa, why do I feel like this? And it was adrenaline. I suppose looking back, like hearing the audience cheer and whistle, and I was kind of like, yes, and it started to relate that I was craving the same thing. And lo and behold, I got into the same line of work, and I've been there now some 25, 26 years. So people like Trevor not only, like I said before, inspires me with my own music, but inspired me in the line of work to make a living in who I am today. So again, I'm always very grateful and respectful at how I've been brought up, and people like Trevor, I always tip me cap and say thank you.
Yeah, oh, that's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. That. Jody says, was just going to say Messi might score for Barca, and remember he doesn't play for them anymore.
Yeah, but he could have. Yeah, he could have been like Nick Pope, couldn't it? He could have loaned him for one game. I've seen that yesterday. About loaning Nick Pope to play Spartans, he could sit out.
Yeah.
Wow, but crazy. Well, yeah, Wheel of Eddie Howe is. I want everyone to go to Wembley this weekend and have it on your phones, have it on your portable speakers, play it in Trafalgar Square, sing it in Trafalgar Square would be even better. Spread the word, get it on your Spotify playlists, get it in the cars, get it on the buses, get it on the trains. It was great, a great recording experience, great bit of fun. Very nervous that I was going to curse them, but like I say, we recorded it before the first leg, before the first ball being kicked, and I had a great time. Like I said, DJ Spike Dave was in there. My best mate Chris, he's on backing vocals. Wallsend's very own Elvis wannabe. So we've got him on backing vocals. And it was just great. It was just a great experience. And more so once that full-time whistle went on the second leg, like, I just remember thinking, I don't feel like a Wally now, because otherwise I was going to be left with a song in my pocket that no one would ever hear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely it's a great song though. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's brilliant. Lee says he used to like some of the bands in the workmen's clubs. Yeah, you got some good bands in there.
Still amazing bands out there. If you go and source them, go and find them. There's some great clubs out there still putting on great bands. You've got Cox Lodge Club. You've got you've got the alternative. You've got talking working men's clubs, High Hound Legion, etc. They're all putting on great bands. And then you've got the alternative. You've got like the Clooney and stuff are coming up with some amazing unsigned bands, and you've got stuff Head of Steam and stuff. I mean, there's some great gigs and some great bands out there if you go and source them. The Maggie Bank, those Shields, well renowned, some great bands. Get out and support local music. Get out and take very much like grassroots football. It needs support. That's what I was saying before. If we can bring the cup home, it's going to be great for hospitality. Be great for bars, great for sales, great for live music. It's have such a knock-on effect. Honestly, people might not realise it, but it's a pack of dominoes about to really knock them over. come 90 minutes on Sunday, if Newcastle have got that cup, then great, honestly.
Yeah,
Let the good
yeah,
times
it does a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Sefton says, I must admit it's superb, your new song, We Love Anyhow. And your Christmas song was brilliant as well.
I'll take that very much.
And Harry says, is We Love Anyhow on a single or a CD?
Yes, it's on. There's only a limited edition of the CDs because of the thing that it is. We wanted to make it a limited edition, so I think there's only about 20 copies left. If you want to get them, is Harry on Twitter or anything like that? If you're not on Facebook, Junior Turner, Twitter Junior Turner 84. I think my handle's on the video somewhere here. Yeah, just in that corner here. If you drop us a DM or a tweet or inbox on Facebook, Junior Turner, and I can sort that out for you, no problem at all.
There you go, Harry. So sorted. So get in contact with Junior.
The CD's got the cup version, the league version. God forbid if Newcastle don't win it, the league version will be played. Talks about winning the league instead of winning the cup, etc. So we covered both aspects so that the studio session wasn't wasted. So the cup version, the league version, and Banks of the River Tyne are all on that one CD.
Oh, brilliant. So there you go, Harry. You know what you've got to do, mate. And yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. And yeah, guys, so we're going to wrap up now. We've been on over 2 hours, but you know what? We've covered a hell of a lot and we've had a great night and it's great having Junior on again. And
thanks everyone that's tuned in. Thanks for all the kind words, but support Tony, subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, and like I've said from the outset, support your own because people like Tony, they do this for very little, well, just for now really, and bless him, he's doing it out of the good of his heart, and that in itself deserves all the praise and recognition. So well done, Tony.
Yeah, thank you, Junior. Thank you. I mean, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you on your socials?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube. Go and check us out YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, all them. I think people stream more than they download these days. Go and check us out on all. I'm everywhere. That's where I am. I'm everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Harry says, excellent stream, Tony and Junior. Thank you very much, Harry.
Cheers, Harry.
Jody says, great stream, Tony and Junior. Keep up the excellent content and music.
Bless you. Cheers, George.
Thank you, George. Lee says, been a great night tonight. Thanks, Tony, and good luck for the future, Junior.
Take care, Lee. Thank you.
Sefton says, keep a copy for me and will it be a signed CD?
Sefton, drop us a message and somewhere nearby there's a pen waiting to sign it. No bother at all.
There you go, Sefton. So you know what you've got to do, Sefton. And yeah. And obviously, guys, you can find me on Twitter at TonyTony31. Follow me and I'll follow you back. Not a problem at all. And as I say, if you like what you see, hit that like button. It does help the channel up the search results so people can find it easier. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Free to do so. Helps it grow. And bell notification tells you when I'm live, pre-records or any upcoming shows. But tomorrow, as usual, I'll be back with my early morning pre-record that I do in the morning. I think everybody kind of like that now. So countdown to the cup final, and I'll be giving you another one of them in the morning. And tomorrow night I'm going on another channel to do the Man United preview for the game on Sunday. So that's what my plans are tomorrow night. So I don't think I'll have a show tomorrow, but I will definitely be back with some sort of show Saturday. And then on Sunday, there'll be probably a few shows during the day. So there'll be one in the morning, a breakfast one, where I'm going to hopefully get a hold of Pete Proudlock on the coach. So see what's going on the coach. That'll be interesting. And then there'll be a build-up to the game with the team lineups. And then maybe after the game, there'll be some sort of reaction show as well. So keep an eye out for that on Sunday. Man U are still 2-1 up at the moment with 5 minutes left to go. So we might not get the extra time we're hoping for, but there again, who knows? There might be 7 minutes of added on time and, you know, Barcelona may score. Lewandowski may pull another rabbit out of the hat and score a goal. Sefton says, "Auf Wiedersehen, all brilliant, Junior." And Ian says, "Great stream, guys. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you." But yeah, I mean, thank you for coming on as well, Junior. It's been absolutely brilliant. And, you know, we'll definitely be back on again, that's for sure. And we'll see if we can get Chris on as well at the same time.
No, but that
When he's not busy throwing a few arrows.
When you put holes in walls.
Yeah. Sefton says, "I'm on night, so take care all and enjoy London."
Take care.
Yeah, you take care at work as well, Sefton. Night shift, yeah.
Nice one. Cheers, Tony.
Yeah, cheers, Junior, and thank you very. Oh, there he's gone now, guys. So yeah, that was great, and that was a great show tonight. So thank you to all that stuck with us and watched. That lad got his tickets, replaced his dog, eating them. Yeah, I thought you'd get them replaced, and that's brilliant news to see. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. And yeah, guys, that's the end of the show. But thank you very much indeed, and see you on the next show. Bye bye for now, guys. Bye bye.